On the outskirts of Berlin, a relic of the Cold War still towers above the forest. Teufelsberg, or Devil's Mountain, once served as one of the most secretive listening posts for US and British forces during the Cold War. Built on the rubble of post-war Berlin, the artificial hill became an ideal perch for Western allies to monitor Soviet and East German troop movements. Today, its dome-shaped radar towers are covered in graffiti, but its echoes of espionage remain.
It all started with the fact that after the war, the rubble needed to go somewhere. This spot in the Grunewald forest near the city was chosen to pile it up. Eventually, the mountain grew so high that it became of interest to the occupying forces, the Americans and the British, who considered using it to spy on the East.
This week, decades after their service, a group of former British and American conscripts returned to the site, revisiting a place where they once spent long shifts in an intense atmosphere of secrecy.
We used to come up here on shift work mainly, over 4 days. We used to do the 24 hours and we'd come up by bus or by car. That was a car park down there. And we used to run up those steps into the guard shack, which was manned by the Americans. Then we walked all the way around into our own area. And then we had an operations room there. And we worked there during our shift. There was about 40 people on.
The mission: intercepting and decoding Soviet and East German military communications.
And the West was fairly keen to know what the East troops were doing, and it wasn't just East German troops, there were Russian troops here as well. And you don't know what they're doing unless you find out what they're doing.
For many, the return stirred memories of a divided Berlin and the contrast between East and West.
Such a lot we were denied because of the state of the wall and the East and the West, which fortunately now has finished and we can enjoy them. I mean, we drove over this morning and it was gorgeous to see all the buildings in their brilliance and it was really, really good.
Some recalled the elaborate tricks used by the Soviets and East Germans to confuse Western intelligence.
But the Soviets and the East Germans had lots of imitation airfields, military installations, military vehicles. They weren't real, but they had them to try and fool us to think they had a lot more military equipment than they really had. You fly across, about halfway down the corridor, the Russians would try and call us up and pretend they were Berlin Center and try to persuade us to fly out of the corridors.
Others remembered the striking experience of entering Berlin during the Cold War.
And we'd carry on flying, then all of a sudden you'd go over the wall to this kaleidoscope of colour. It's absolutely amazing. From nothingness, you had reds, whites, greens, blues, allotments, gardens, people, advertising. Absolutely amazing. A wonderful sight. The first time I saw it, I was overcome by it, and I've never ever forgotten it. My first time flying into Berlin, from darkness into light.
For US officers stationed here, the task was even graver, ensuring early warning of any Soviet attack on Western Europe.
Our main mission was to provide early warning of an impending attack to West Europe, and so our soldiers and airmen were very busy monitoring the communications of the Group Soviet Forces Germany and the East German Army.
For many veterans, this reunion offered a rare chance to reconnect with counterparts they never met during their service.
There was very little interaction socially also with our British compatriots. So today is a really very fulfilling day to meet some of my counterparts from the 1980s that I did not know at the time. So it's kind of a little fascinating tidbit of history.
From rubble to radar domes, from Cold War tension to modern graffiti art, Teufelsberg remains a symbol of a world once divided, now revisited by the very people who once guarded its secrets.